Okay, so the first card that comes out is the Ace of Feathers. Mental clarity, foundation. Foundation. And remember, at the beginning of this reading, we were talking about how different forces want to come in different ways. How do they interact? How do you relate to them? And then how does that actualize, right? Foundation. How does that actualize in the physical form? And it starts with our focus. So our mental awareness, mental clarity. Are we in a state of allowing and observing and exploring? The Sun card comes next. This will lead us to success in this area, either this healing path, or this romantic relationship, right? Or like, are we deceiving ourselves in any way? How are we out of touch with our truth and what's true, right? Based on this distortion in perception, based on our wounds, based on our traumas and past experiences. There might be projection here in part, right? Or an exacerbation or catastrophizing, right? Based on what we think this might mean, or, right? Like if we are told a white lie, we think one lie leads to another lie. And I'm sure they're covering up all kinds of crazy stuff. And are we catastrophizing here? Because that might not be wrong, but we don't know for sure, right? So finding the truth, like allowing the truth to be revealed. And then the Sun, right? Vitality and joy. So maybe you're just feeling burnt out from relationship issues right now, and you're feeling like for me to continue down this path, I just kind of need a renewed sense of vitality, a renewed sense of joy in life. So what mental patterning can we weed out here to make more room? Make more room to perceive the things we can be grateful for, right? Like honesty. Can we reward honesty? If we value honesty, shouldn't we reward it when someone offers it, right? Finding the blessing, even though it might be a hurtful truth. Sometimes people tell us the truth to sustain a relationship because they respect us. And then all we can see is how it affects us, right? How the behavior affects us or makes us see ourselves. And I'm not saying that shouldn't be weighed in at all, but does it feel resonant? Does it feel right to acknowledge that the truth is being given here, right? Is that something we can reward at this time? An awakening's coming out. Renewal, enlightenment. Are any of these animals speaking to you? I think this is a ram or a goat. Maybe, no, it's a goat. A goat, a hummingbird, right? Have you even seen hummingbirds? Because you're in tune with animals, you're connected. A peacock. Awakening, renewal. Renewal is real, this enlightenment, this sense of enlightenment. How are we blocking the sun? How are we blocking our joy? And how can we come into a greater state of renewal, awaken that in ourselves? By removing some of these blocks and obstacles. Right, the sun enlightens, the sun illuminates. So we can get into this Empress energy with the bunny. Empress, beauty, abundance, right? The Empress is seen as very beautiful. So is this about self-image? Is this about how you see yourself? Could upping your self-care game, getting a few more workouts in, adding some more veggies or fruits, right? Or both into your diet. How can taking care of yourself help you feel renewed, more vitality, look better, right? Feel more beautiful and abundant, right? And build self-trust so that you trust yourself to handle anything that comes. You're able to handle someone else's deception because you can see that it's not about you. And then 3 of acorns with the giraffe. Foresight, exploration, seeing from a higher perspective, right? That's what the giraffe does. The giraffe can take something and see it from a higher perspective. Can we explore how these influences want to interact and want to actualize, or how they have actualized, right? What's the manifestation that's already here? Can we take stock of that and see, right? Can we look around and see what's already here, good and bad, because we might want to tweak something, right? How are things showing up already, and what do we need to do? Can we explore how we need to tweak our thoughts, how we see ourselves, our ability to allow and receive, our connection to the energy of love, our connection to the elements, how do they synthesize in our system, our connection to whatever forces we're working with here, right? What's our connection to romantic relationships? And do we perceive romantic feelings with trepidation because we know it always leads to heartbreak and separation anyway? What's our relationship here, and what is becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy? How can we weed those things out of the garden of our minds? Because foresight can be intuitive, and our ability to see things, how the potential of something, how it might play out, right? Because we talked about this could be knowing we're being deceived, but seeing the potential anyway, right? Knowing that someone's not really being themselves. They're maybe in self-aggrandizement mode and showing an image of what they think we want to see. A prince is very charming, right? So what is it that we're perceiving that maybe we're getting an intuitive hit that this is probably what's going to happen here, or this is what's probably happening, and how much of that is from past wounding and it's a projection. Revealing the truth to ourselves, getting clear, not deceiving ourselves through self-fulfilling prophecy and just past hurts, right? Protecting ourselves from past hurts. We all do that. Like, I've seen this pattern before, so why even bother exploring this further? I know what you are. I've been here before. I've been with someone that looks just like you, acts just like you. I know where this is leading, and I need to be with myself right now, so I'm just gonna detach. I'm just gonna cut this off because I can't bear this. I'm starting to care. I'm starting to have romantic feelings here, but I know where this leads. I'm not even gonna ask about it. I'm not even gonna talk about it. I hear you. I hear what you're doing, right? And then we're just like, bye. We cut it off prematurely before it can really reveal what it really is, because we think we already know. Well, I already know what this is. Sometimes we're right, but maybe we do so in a way that's reactive or hasty, and there might have been a better approach to leave it open so that when growth does happen, there's a door, there's a way to come back. We don't always think that way. Sometimes it's just like, I gotta protect myself now. Knight of Feathers. Action focus. So as you're exploring, seeing, what am I focusing on here, right? Am I focusing on blessings? Which is this strong heart that I've developed, this amazing, resilient heart, and a capacity to love that I've forged. Better self-care. I learned to up my self-care game out of this. What are we focusing on here? What are we using our mental energy on? Is it worth it? Is it worthwhile? It's an investment just like anything else. We have limited mental energy. I know I do. What are we investing it in? Is it worthy of our time and attention and focus? And then what action steps might be coming in, right? Because the co-creative process is balanced. There are going to be, as we synthesize, right? As we create this state of synthesis, there are going to be ways we need to get out of the way, let it come in, explore, observe, use our minds to receive, right? Where are we putting our focus and attention? Allow it to come in, get resistance out of the way, and then there's going to be times where we need to act. There are steps we're going to need to take, and we will be guided. We just have to listen. We have to be in tune. So, learning to trust the signal. Learning to trust the signal, our ability to perceive the truth, right? It's a bat. Bat's navigating in the dark. I think it uses sound. Interesting, because I'm going to do sound on the end. I think it uses sound to navigate, if I'm not mistaken. Goes into its cave, right? Bats go into their cave. Are you in your cave, hiding out, right? And then perceiving that you're all alone and isolated. And it's something that you're creating to protect yourself. We all do that sometimes. Do you trust your perception, or is it something that's outdated? You know, were you harmed as a child? Were you hurt and bullied or teased, or was there cruel behavior in your childhood, and now as an adult you feel like the only way to protect that child is to lock it up, put a guard at the door? No one's getting in here. I'm not being vulnerable. I'm not getting hurt. And it's sabotaging your relationships, and it's sabotaging your life, because with that child locked up, you kind of lose a will to live, don't you? You don't have access to this sense of wonder in the world, your inner genius, your creative force, your creative energy, the playful part of you, right? You locked it up to keep yourself safe from getting hurt again. Any chance we can let that child out, right? Can we unlock the door? Can we make it feel safe? Because maybe maybe that part needs our attention right now, our mental energy, our mental focus, the light of our love, understanding to grow it up, right? To reparent it, or to tune into its wisdom. Our inner truth. We feel this separation from ourselves. There's this internal separation from this aspect of self, which creates separation everywhere. So how can we integrate internally and acknowledge this part that we deem too weak to manage, so we lock it up and run away? These patterns often start with trauma, wounds in the childhood, right? Cruelty, bullying, abuse, neglect. So, and it's particularly hard on the sensitive system. So let's see what crystal. Caterpillar, green calcite. Caterpillar, forward movement, transformation, introspection, right? Is that what's happening right now? Is that what's happening? Are you going inside here? It's not quite cocooning. There's this caterpillar part of you, right? That's, there's many parts of you that have transformed, and you've worked on and looked at and grown, and they've transformed right into butterflies. But there's an aspect of yourself that's still a caterpillar that you've locked away maybe and haven't allowed to mature because it was deemed too weak. It was deemed too weak to show up. So we have a lot of protector parts in place. The green calcite. Calcite's very absorbent, so it can absorb off harmful energy. Particularly resonates with the heart chakra. Forward movement, transformation, introspection. So going inside and just exploring this. Is there an aspect of self that's preventing, right, the growth in this area, or this cycle, this self-fulfilling prophecy, whatever it is? Spirit of Caterpillar, help me release old energy patterns so that I may freely move forward. Thank you. Aho. We're releasing these patterns, this outdated cycle in relationship. You might see it across the board, right? You might see it with friends. Like, I cut off friends because I didn't know how to manage. They're all users and liars, right? It's like not being comfortable with humanity. It's like the imperfections of humanity and the risk with human interaction and relationship and interdependence. Maybe we're learning this, maybe we're navigating this, and this is something that's new to us. Have patience with yourself. This caterpillar will transform. You're taking the first step, and that's okay. And maybe you're internal now, and this is just part of the process for you. Maybe you need to go inside. Maybe you need to separate right now. Go inside and focus on synthesis. How are you synthesizing here? How are you bringing all these energies together? And it's a time of preparation as we manifest, right? Sometimes that happens too. And then the bottom of the deck, sorry, back to the tarot. I forgot. The bottom of the deck, penguin. Penguins mate for life, right? The male penguin finds a pebble, the perfect pebble, and brings it to the female as a bid of love. It's beautiful. Nine of Shells, gratitude, fulfillment. You're on the path. You're on the path to fulfillment, right? This awakening is happening. You've been awakened that there's something here that needs to shift and move, and that maybe you're still a caterpillar in some area, maybe in love, maybe in romantic relationships. So we're looking at it. We're navigating it. We're learning. Maybe we are observing animals and learning through the telepathy there. Right? We're intuiting a process here of, I don't really want to get into the deceptive games. It doesn't make sense to me. I can't quite manage or navigate that. So is there a more natural approach? Is there a more authentic approach that I can see with animals? A lot of times those tactics are used to manipulate someone who's not right for us, right? It's not a good match anyway. So we could just let it go and not try to provoke them or trick them into, falling for us or chasing us. We could just be ourselves and get that, okay, this isn't the right person, and then move away, right? So oftentimes those tactics are used to prolong the situation that isn't right to begin with. So it's kind of a waste of time. Because that never ends in a long-term relationship. Because you're going to just keep that mask on the entire time. You're just going to play those games till the end of days. It just doesn't work. Doesn't work out. It's not going to lead to a long-term relationship. The people that are using those tactics aren't looking for that. So don't even play the game. If what you're looking for is a long-term relationship, once you start noticing that, call it out. And if it doesn't change, they're not ready for a relationship. They don't love themselves yet, or they're not in it for love, right? So no, we don't got time for that. Let's see what aroma wants to lend itself to this reading. What essential oil wants to teach us about synthesis, going inside, weeding out any self-deception, maybe getting in touch with more of our innate natural charm. Animals have natural charm, don't they? We can learn from them in that way. Sometimes, thinking of a puppy, happy to see you. It's easy to fall in love with a puppy, isn't it? Because there's so much enthusiasm and they're so happy to see you and they're just so cute. There's natural charm there. There's natural charm with cat. All animals have like some kind of charm, don't they? It might be this authentic sense of authenticity. Okay. Spearmint. Spearmint. No one listens to me. Oh, conviction. Conviction is the key word. No one listens to me is the trigger statement. The true statement is my voice is heard. Stand strong and communicate your message. The world is ready to receive what you have to share. Stand strong and communicate your message. The world is ready to receive what you share. Are you locking part of yourself away because you deemed it too weak? What does it want to say? What's its message? That inner child, the wounded inner child that was deemed too weak. You fragmented yourself. It's okay, we all do it. It's not a catastrophe, right? We all do that to a certain extent. We all have a bunch of moving parts. And when we've had trauma or cruelty or bullying or just never felt good enough, right? We have wounding. We take those weaker parts, those parts that are deemed inappropriate, too weak, unacceptable. We lock them away and put a guard at the door. That's called a protector, right? The protector part. And then that inner child lives in darkness and we wonder why we don't have a sense of enthusiasm, vitality, renewal, right? All these things. And there's a reason for that. Are we able to free that child? Hear its voice. Spearmint's about the oil of confident speech, right? Getting in touch with that charming aspect of yourself that knows how to communicate. Could also be learning from your communication with animals or feeling confident because you're so good at communicating with animals. So feeling that connection through animals and feeling a sense of family with animals, the animal kingdom. Spearmint inspires clarity of thought and confident verbal expression. Individuals in need of spearmint may hide their thoughts, opinions, and ideas, withholding their voices. Withholding, right? It's a form of deception. Spearmint encourages inner clarity about one's personal convictions and opinions. It then assists individuals in translating that inner clarity into words. Spearmint promotes confidence in expressing oneself verbally, especially when speaking in front of groups of people. It helps individuals create an effective stage presence by infusing them with confidence. Spearmint also encourages individuals to take a public stand on behalf of their values and opinions. Can be a helpful remedy for those who struggle with communicating clearly for a wide range of reasons, from feeling scattered and inarticulate to stumbling over one's words. It assists individuals in becoming emotionally clear about what they want to say and then saying it in short. In short, spearmint can help individuals access their inner light and convey that light to the world with clarity and confidence. Brings confidence, articulate communication, clarity, courageousness. It's great if you're experiencing fear of public speaking, if you're feeling timid, if you're holding back opinions, inarticulate. Spearmint. Thank you, Spearmint. Another resource we'll add to our arsenal, right? Because that could very well be this caterpillar part that doesn't feel experienced enough. Nice. One last card. I'm going to go to Crazy Sexy Love Notes by Chris Carr. To end this reading, about synthesis, seeing how energies want to connect, anchor down, relate, and then actualize in the physical plane through partnership, right? What is the end result of all these thoughts that are going on inside. Many are probably conflicting. That's normal, right? We all have a lot of conflicting thoughts, and some of them need weeded out. They're outdated. Outdated self-beliefs, self-image. One last card. You are loved. You are loved. Is that a baby calf or a deer? I can't tell. But you are loved, and see the animal love too? You're loved all over the place. You are enough just as you are, and you are loved. If you don't have a model for love, imagine yourself as a child. Perhaps you have a favorite picture of yourself as an adorable 5-year-old. Look into your own sweet eyes and acknowledge just how special you are. That child inside still needs your tenderness, and so does the adult you. Please don't abandon yourself. Instead, tap into the ocean of love inside. Is that inner child locked away? Is there a child aspect of self that's locked away in a dark, dark space with a guard at the door? No one's allowed in, but that inner child can't get out. Can we show that child love, that we won't abandon it again? That it's loved, it's lovable, it's accepted, that it's not too weak, right? That its sensitivity is beautiful and a gift. How can we love that inner child so that we can create so we can integrate some of that energy, right? So that it's not just this fragment that we can't acknowledge that creates inner separation, so we see outer separation relationship. Okay, let's do some sound medicine for synthesis, photosynthesis. Right, there's some sun here. We eaten some foods that have been grown in the sun. Let's see. How can we allow the energy of love to transform us? That's a type of synthesis. Showing love to that inner child. Let me see. So just holding your heart, or wherever you perceive the inner child, right, that's been locked up. Is there an energy center or an area of the body that's kind of loud energetically, like really active right now, or a lot of tension, discomfort, pain, or really active energetically? Is there something crying out for your attention right now in your body? That could be the inner child trying to get out, right? Put a hand there if it's comfortable to do so, or, you know, a pillow if it's on your back and it's kind of uncomfortable. Something there to support, something there to show support, to nurture, to let it know you see it. Put your mind there, breathe into it. Just send loving energy, send love through your breath and through your hand, or whatever you have there to support it. And tell it right now you're not going to abandon it. You're there. You're there for it. It's safe to come out. You won't lock it up again. It's loved. Tell that aspect, you are loved. You are loved. You're accepted. I see you. I see you. I'm going to use my angel tuning fork now to just revitalize the system. How does your system want to recalibrate now to this new discovery, right? This new aspect of self? Are you able to welcome this aspect in and integrate a bit? Make room for it? Has the protector part at the door transformed? Does it want to take on a new role, right? We want to integrate. There's no more exiling. We don't want to exile it. Can it take on a new role now instead of protecting? Allowing your system to recalibrate, just breathing deeply, just noticing how things are shifting, if anything's changed. One more. Deep breath. Good. That got a little deep. I hope that was valuable. I hope that you had a healing experience there through acknowledging that aspect of yourself. Both aspects, right? The protector is there for a reason too. They need acknowledgement too. So showing them gratitude for the role they've played too, and allowing for it to transform as it wants to. As we use these forces and energies to synthesize into a greater sense of empowerment and well-being and vitality and renewal and self-actualization, our true self, who are we really, right? Without compartmentalizing, fragmenting aspects of self, can we come into a greater sense of oneness, wholeness with all the parts, right? So I hope this was valuable, helpful. Thank you for sharing. If you want to book a private session, the information will be in the description of this video. Also, connecting on other social media platforms, that information will be in the description as well. Thank you for all who have become individual clients. I honor you. You are incredible people. It's so amazing to connect with you and feel like I'm reunited with a long lost friend, right? It's incredible. And thank you for those who are donating. It is a really wonderful way to show gratitude and to make me feel balance in this experience. So thank you. I appreciate that. Also, thank you for the likes and the subscribes and the shares. And the comments. That exchange is really valuable to me too. So thank you. I'm wishing you this renewed enthusiasm and feeling of connection in yourself. This integration. I hope this newfound state of connection, this sense of oneness, helps you develop more self-trust as you discontinue this tendency to abandon self, so the inner child doesn't feel abandoned, so that experience isn't reflected outside of you, right? And so there can be less separation, more connection in your life in every area. So much love, so many blessings. You're amazing, an amazing self-healer. I'll see you in the next reading. Bye, empath.